Hey YouTube, it's me Shayna of thickgirlscloset.com and welcome back to my channel. As always, I love having you guys here, and this is another episode of the Curvy Chat where it's just us talking about all things plus. So for this episode of the Curvy Chat, I wanted to kind of talk about something that I saw on Facebook. Daily Venus Diva, which is a plus size magazine entertainment website. I'll put the link in the description box below. But I was part of a conversation on Facebook where they basically asked, should CEOs of plus size companies need to be plus size? Like, is that a necessity for them to be a CEO of a plus size company? And immediately I was like, no. So of course, me being the curious person that I am, I decided to read the comments. Now the comments range from flat out no to yes, because that's how you're gonna know what works for me, and there was a lot of in between. So I thought this is a very interesting question to ask because a lot of our plus size companies are not owned by plus size women or men. Independent brands are very different. Most independent brands are owned by plus size women because they're independent. But a lot of the major plus size brands, the more mass produced mainstream companies, are not owned or run by plus size women. So it kind of spawned an interesting conversation, and one that I don't think a lot of people were very didn't think far enough in terms of their responses. So I wanted to see what you all thought about that because I think it's an extremely interesting conversation to have. Now, my personal feeling on that is I don't think that a CEO of a plus size company needs to necessarily be plus size. If they are, that's great. If not, that's fine as well. I personally feel like as long as you are knowledgeable on our industry and you take the necessary steps to educate yourself on our industry, then I am all for a skinny person being a CEO of a plus size company. I think as long as you incorporate the right people that know the industry, then I think it works. I think it can be done properly, because if we want to be real about it, the Lane Bryant CEO, Linda Heasley, is not plus size in any form. She's a short, skinny person. Unfortunately, that's no shade. That's just how she's built, and she runs one of the largest plus size chains in the world. So it can absolutely be done. I think as long as your team involved, again, understands the industry and understands what can be done, I think you don't necessarily have to be plus size as a CEO. Also, what I have to say I found very interesting is the fact that a lot of the commentary kind of swung from CEOs to people that work for these companies. And I distinctly remember one comment saying that this young lady went into I believe it was Lane Bryant, but it could have been another store. She went into this plus size store and was immediately appalled by one of the sales associates being a skinny girl. And she was actually bothered by that. And she said, saying, in her mind that, why is a skinny girl working here? She can't help me find something to wear. And immediately I wanted to respond, but I was like, nah, don't do it. But when I thought about that, I was like, my first thought was, why can't a skinny girl work for like a Lane Bryant or a Torrid? I'm confused as to why she can't work for Lane Bryant and Torrid. Like, if that job is paying her money, she's gonna work there. Like, I don't see why a skinny girl cannot work at Lane Bryant or Torrid. And of course, the first argument is, well, they don't understand what it's like to be plus size. One, you don't know that. They could have been plus size at one point in their life and have lost a lot of weight, so you can't fully argue that. And two, what does that matter? It's a job for her. As long as she sells you the right clothes and she helps you buy something, that's her job. She's doing what is in the scope of her pay grade. Because in all actuality, you know full and well, if you went to Victoria's Secret or a Hollister or Abercrombie or a store that is solely straight size, and they said to you, oh, we're not going to hire you because you're fat, you know full and well you're going to be right up there writing yourself a Huffington Post article, get a little 15 minutes of viral fame, and then you'll be right there being mad, and people going to boycott the store and they're not going to work there no more. Like, you cannot effectively say that because a skinny girl works at a store, she has no right to be working at a plus size size store. Like, what? All of that several seats to the left. Like, I was like, what is happening? I don't think that's an effective argument. It's the same way how, like, even on a corporate level, just because they're skinny does not mean they're not allowed to work at a plus size company, because at the end of the day, if they are qualified to work, they're qualified to work. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of plus size girls that work Victoria's Secret on a corporate level, plus size women that work for a Perry Ellis or a Ralph Lauren or a Calvin Klein, either on a store level or a corporate level. Like, I don't think that your weight, your body size should hinder you from working wherever it is that you're hired. If you are capable of doing a job and they hire you to do said job, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm a big girl. I can't work for your company. Sorry, no. And vice versa. Oh, you know, I'm a skinny girl. I don't know if I can work at a Lane Bryant because, you know, they may not accept. No. I don't think that's a fair argument for us to make because she's skinny, she can't work at Lane Bryant. What? Huh? But going back to the original question here, do CEOs need to be plus size? I absolutely do not think so. I don't think the argument saying that, well, they don't understand our plight as plus women. They, you know, if they're plus size, you understand what I'm going through, you know what I'm going through. But can we talk about it? Because most of the major designers, especially those that do plus size, your Calvin Kleins, Victor Camutos, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, Kenneth Cole, all men. Run and owned by men. Most major fashion designers are men. They make clothes for women. They have not the slightest clue what it's like to have boobs and a butt and hips and all that jazz. But they make clothes for us. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. So I don't think the argument saying that, oh, well, they don't know what it's like to be me, when a lot of the clothes you buy are made by the opposite sex, you can't effectively make that argument at all. At all. There are plenty of skinny women who work for a lot of the plus size brands you shop. You'd be quite surprised. I don't necessarily think that because they have a all plus size girls have, it's necessarily going to be any better. I think as long as the team that is in place to effectively market to you, effectively have the right buyers, I think they can create a great line. Period. And can market to you in the correct way. So I say all of that foolishness to say I don't necessarily think that CEOs need to be plus size. I don't necessarily think that their entire team has to be plus size. I do think if there's maybe a few heads of plus size men and women on the team, I think it could add to the advice and maybe tell people like, hey, that may not be the best way to go because of X, Y, and Z. I think they're good to have that type of diversity on staff, but I don't think that because they're not plus size does not mean they cannot necessarily effectively bring you a good plus size line or a plus size collection for a plus size brand. I think that again, it's all about your knowledge. If you are knowledgeable about our industry, you understand our industry, you understand the plus size woman, regardless of what size you are, I think you can definitely be successful as a CEO of a plus size company, whether or not you are plus size. So there you have it. That was this episode of the Curvy Chat. I am proud of myself. This is 2 weeks in a row I got the Curvy Chat up. So please let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Should CEOs of plus size companies be plus size themselves? I want to hear your thoughts and your comments down below. So go ahead and comment. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out last week's Curvy Chat and any of my other fashion videos here on my channel. Be sure to follow my blog and every other social media. Break time, dance, break. I love you, stop. I love you guys as always, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Deuces.